I am Isander.
And I'm Coda.
And thank you for tuning into this episode on our fixations.
Hyperfixations, almost.
I know. We're continuing this Warhammer one with the results from the poll. I counted them all, and while it was really close, it was pushed over the edge, and the Guard won.
It's the Guard.
Mm-hmm. But before we get into the Guard, if you haven't already, please go check out the Patreon where you can help us keep producing this wonderful show and chasing the dream, right? Mm-hmm. If you join in, you get priority on all fan-submitted content, an extra episode every week. This week we did one on the Death Corps of Krieg, right?
Death Corpse of Krieg.
Jury's still out on that one,
It's a funny play on words.
And all kinds of other perks. So we're currently working on our first Patreon goal of 100, which we are going to shatter.
Yeah, we are very, very close to it right now.
Yeah, in this household, we shatter goals. You guys have been killing it there. So when we get to 100, we'll create a Discord for the community, and every patron will be invited. And everyone there who's consistently there, we will send out a first founding patch. It's going to be limited. There's only going to be 100 of them. And once they're done, they're done. That's it. That's the only way to get one. If you can't hop on, don't worry about it. There will be more stuff we're going to be doing in the future. But that's the first run we're ever doing, and then it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of like you were the first into the breach.
It's a founding thing.
Right?
It's kind of like if you've ever heard Warframe's got like the founder, the Excalibur Prime. My Warhammer knowledge is ancient.
Mm-hmm. Warhammer?
Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
War something. Warframe, Warhammer, same diff.
Mm-hmm. So if you want one of those patches, or if you want to help us keep this show running, keep the lights on, please go over to our patreon.com/Isander and Coda, or click the link in the show notes / the description. Right.
And to the people who are already there and already subscribed, your support is greatly appreciated.
Yep. And secondly, you have been all amazing about sharing, commenting, liking the episodes, so we appreciate your effort as we fight the machine gods. We're inching closer and closer to our other goal of 10K, so please keep that up. For our amazing audio listeners, keep subscribing with that auto download, and leave us a review. Obviously, 5 stars is preferred. Obviously. But however you feel, say it with chest. That's all I ask, right? With the way we've been moving, the fandom seems to kind of move like a unit. I'm positive we're going to shatter these goals in no time. Mm-hmm. So thank you all for doing your part and helping us keep making this, right? Now let's keep going with the Guard this time.
The Guard.
These guys are fun. These guys are
Guard.
Very fun. I'll be honest, they were up there for me. God, that just rendered. I was so excited. I love the Guard.
Oh, Guard. Timmy, the Tyranids are at it again.
One of these days,
get the shotgun.
They're just going to hear like rustling and then footsteps walking further and further away. That's just what's going to happen one of these days. There will be one dad joke too many, and I'll walk.
There's no such thing as too many dad jokes.
I would argue there are. You keep this up in a sweater vest, it's going to appear. Like you joke, but one's just going to appear. Anyway.
If it does, I'll wear it with pride.
You and our patrons already heard this spiel in our earlier episode this week on the Death Corps, but we're going to go over it again because it's the best way to set the scene for the Guard.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to the Imperium's armies, the Space Marines are the Imperium sword. They cut through the night. They're the blade that you fear. That's the end I would never want to see. I would never want to see.
Yeah.
Right? But the Guard comprise its shield, right? For every one world that Space Marines kind of walk in on, be super cool in, and take over, right? Mm-hmm. The Guard hold 10 with countless billions of soldiers. All just regular people.
An uncountable number of soldiers. Just insane amount of soldiers.
In a world of horrors unimaginable and enemies that just rip through cities in hours, the Guard are average people like you and me.
They are just guys
who've just been conscripted to do what needs to be done no matter the cost, right? They are... The best way to describe the Guard, if you had to like boil them down into 30 seconds, is good grimdark. Mm-hmm. It's really good grimdark.
Yeah.
Because a lot of grimdark kind of gets its own head up its own like rear, right? Mm-hmm. Just the nature of how it is, right? It's edge for edge's sake.
Yeah,
right?
I mentioned it before. It's like really forced. It's not like grimdark for grimdark's sake. It's just...
No, it's not even...
Grimdark!
No, it's not even forced. It's just like nothing good will ever happen ever. What's the point of living, right?
It's less grimdark and more hopeless.
I know. It's utterly hopeless. There's no point. Like bad grimdark will make you think, why am I reading this?
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest like knocks on Warhammer, really. It's just like, it's so depressing. I don't want to read that, which it is. Mm-hmm. It is, but they are good grimdark because even though they know they can never win, no, most guardsmen know they're not going to win the second they lay eyes on the enemy, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a Tyranid over there?
Yeah.
Better send my wife a last love you letter.
I know, right? But even though for a fact they know they can never win, they will still fight on every single time, even though they cannot make a dent in half the things they do.
Yeah.
Because in their opinion, fighting for a good cause and doing the right thing is its own reward, which is good grimdark.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to die a miserable death, but you're doing it for something, right? And so I've always loved the kind of canon story of when the Emperor was at his lowest, with Horus about to kill him, a single guardsman rushed in between them. Like, just a dude rushed between effectively two gods in a versus.
Yeah.
And now, to be fair, it is Warhammer. He got hit so hard the meat left his bones.
It just left it gone.
Yeah, he got deboned.
He got T-boned.
Right? Like, just in a single hit, right? But his choice to be there is kind of what pushed the Emperor over the edge and went, right, you're just unsavable, Horus.
Yeah, you're no longer human.
And ended him on the spot, right? So the Guard are the epitome of if we all do the right thing over and over and over again, no matter how bad things are, they may be good.
Yeah.
Like, we may someday win, right? If we stack, if every single person in New York puts a straw on this camel's back, it will die.
Yeah.
And that's how they operate, right? Just the act of raging against the dying of the light is its own victory, right?
Their philosophy is, if I can be the gum in a Chaos Marine's boot and jam up his armor so much that somebody else can capitalize upon that and defeat him, then I will have done good.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they think. Unfortunately, though, just because you're winning doesn't mean you're going to have fun doing it.
No. I did say being the gum in a Chaos Marine's boot was fun. It's probably very terrifying.
The average hive world in Warhammer has 200 billion people on it. And there are thousands of these scattered across the universe.
200 billion?
Yeah.
It's a disgusting amount
And
of
there
people.
are thousands of them. In this world, manufacturing the firearms and gear to outfit your army literally costs more than the bodies themselves, because they're just think about how many people are born today on our world, and we're at, like, I believe either 9 or 11 billion.
Are we there yet?
We're close, right? And just multiply that by 200 and then multiply it by, like, several thousand.
Yeah, it's an uncountable number. It's a number that's so large.
Yeah,
you literally cannot process it.
Like, the guns they're holding are more expensive than them themselves, right? So in our world, militaries will spend however much ordnance it takes to save lives, right? It doesn't matter. No child left behind, basically, is how they operate, right? In Warhammer, it's the opposite.
Unless you're the Salamanders.
Unless you're the Salamanders, right? But to pretty much everyone else, human life is the cheapest currency, right? Corpses are literally recycled into starch that's used to feed their not quite corpses yet.
Not quite corpses.
Yeah, this because of how just expendable they're treated in a lot of books, especially because, again, Space Marines need hype men because they keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So every time you need to show how bad something is, usually they send the Guard in first, which, so unfortunate for the Guard. Like, hey, Angron's back. How are we going to show him off? Let's throw the Guard at him.
I'm sorry, you said the Space Marines need hype men, and all I could think of was the Guard. Just in hype beast gear, like supreme, like puffer vests and like the huge, like techwear parachute pants with the straps all over, just rushing into a Tyranid and going.
That would be the hardest album cover. That would be an unbelievably hard. Could you imagine just a Space Marine posted up, puffy jacket, like, you know that one Goku meme, right?
The Goku meme.
Yeah, and then you just have a bunch of like guards hyping him up in the background, just losing and just going rah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that image. I love that image so much.
But yeah, that has led them to being kind of typecast as bumbling idiots.
Ah.
Just because of the nature of it, right?
Yeah.
If you're dying at that rate, you're gonna be downgraded, right?
You're pretty much getting the same chimney sweep treatment of like, I'm 12 years old and I'm wiping the chimneys, except it's I am 18 years old and I am softening the beaches.
Basically, beach softening. Jeez, yeah. But I think that's not very close to the truth at all, right? It kind of starts with how they're recruited. It's something called the Imperial Tithe.
Yeah.
Think of it like if the taxman was allowed to barge into your house, empty your fridge, drain your bank account, take any number of your kids, or D, all of the above. And then if that wasn't bad enough, if your kids weren't ready for whatever the taxman like took them for, right?
Yeah.
Or you just didn't have as many kids as their weird calculations said you should have, they will shoot you for treason and then put somebody else in charge of your house, married to your wife.
Jesus.
That's
The Fourth Amendment no longer exists, is what you're saying.
Oh God, none of them exist. Right? That's a problem that planetary governors face. Because of this, most worlds are pretty focused on churning out decent guardsmen.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're pretty much, a lot of planets, not all, but a lot of planets have people trained from birth to be at least competent around firearms.
Yeah.
So, meaning like your average guardsman's going to be like your average trooper today, right? And your best guardsmen are going to like exceed even the legends we have, right?
Yeah.
Like going far above people like Chris Kyle, the White Death, all those, like your best guardsmen are going to surpass that, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, they're also equipped with future gear. Every guardsman is armed with a las gun. And what that is a gun that can punch holes through concrete, can be manufactured almost everywhere, fires more than 100 shots before you need to reload, has no recoil because it's firing light, will never jam, will flash boil anything it hits on contact, and if it somehow fails, you can overload it and use it as a grenade.
Oh.
And everyone in 40k calls it a flashlight. This does a good job of showing off the scale of Warhammer, because you have these literally countless soldiers trained from birth and armed to the teeth with weapons that most modern countries will be salivating over.
Oh, yeah.
And in the roughest of wars, their lifespan can drop to 15 hours. Yeah, there's a battle out there that was so tough that your average guardsman there was like projected to live for 15 hours.
Yeah.
You don't even get to go to bed.
No.
You land there, you get out, you fight for a day, that's it. And they were able to sustain that for a while.
They walk up to their commissar. Wow, this is a wonderful trip. So where is our housing? Housing? Yeah, the barracks. We didn't get that far, guy. Get out there.
No, actually, that leads perfectly into my next point. They are so lied to. These people, they don't know up from down before they get into combat.
Yeah.
Right? There is this wonderful book I want really fucking bad. I want this book so badly. It's called The Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer. It's a canon book that's given to guardsmen in training, right? And this thing is taken super seriously, like outside the game, right?
Yeah.
Like in print. There's only one marking to show that this thing didn't just plop out of the 41st millennium. And that's like the Black Library like publishing logo.
Yeah.
Right beneath like the Imperium's publishing logo.
Yeah.
Like the in-canon Imperium's like copywriting and all that. Other than that, front to back, it looks like it fell out of 40k.
Yeah.
They committed to the bit really hard, right? And it's great, right? Because of that. It's got so many bangers in there because it kind of shows you what your average guardsman expects, right?
Yeah.
Like the Vault Tech style films they watch.
Oh,
before.
yeah.
It's like Vault Tech and you.
Vault Tech calling.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that, where it's like, it shows you how these people could even walk into the front lines in the first place, right? With such bangers as, when in doubt, attack first, attack hard, keep attacking. And orcs are smaller and weaker than humans, with brittle bones and weak muscles, which is a lie. But okay. Tyranids are slow, sluggish, and have blunt-tipped claws. They're very fast. They cut through Space Marines and their armor with a single.
I've seen Tyranids.
Yeah,
in, like the Space Marine trailer.
We just haven't covered them yet. That's why I'm sad. Yeah. Another. They're coming though. They're coming at some point.
No, the book.
The Tau are herbivorous animals who are scared of loud noises, people, and are completely incapable of math and science. These are the guys with Gundams.
Okay. I've always liked mecha since I was a kid. Like, one of my favorite games as a child was Mech Warrior Mech Assault 2. I love the Tau for that.
Oh yeah. No,
Like, I'd say out of all of the factions in Warhammer 40k I've had experience with, the Necrons are my favorite, but the Tau are a close second.
Next poll, the Tau and the Tyranids are probably going to make it for sure, because I just see comments about them all the time, and I want to cover them too. It's just finding out where to slot them, because the Imperium's so huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of Imperium going on.
Yeah.
Like, I was scrolling through GW's website because, you know, I got curious. I was like wanting to look at the models, right? And there's like a wall of Imperium figures.
It keeps the lights on.
And then there's like all of the Xeno or the Chaos armies. It's like 50 each.
Well, it's also cost effective, because if you think about it, you can make one Space Marine model and sell 10 different kinds of paint, and it's each like a different legion.
This is a Space Wolf. This is an Iron Fist. What's the difference?
Right.
You buy the paint yourself.
And then the last banger from this book is the Eldar technology is antiquated and no match for our technology, with their weapons being unable to penetrate our armor, which is such a lie.
That's
The Eldar go toe to toe with Necrons when it comes to tech.
yeah.
The Emperor looked to the Eldar as a model of what he wanted to build. The Eldar have this like weird webway thing where they can travel through the warp safely. The Emperor looked at that.
It's like a fast travel system.
Yeah, exactly. So they are like one of the most advanced races. And you know, when you read that, you're like, I now see how you could walk out there with confidence. Orcs are weak with brittle bones. This is going to be light work.
It's okay. I'll just hit him in the head, and his skull was just.
I know, right? Someday I definitely will do a full episode on it. Unfortunately, the book was done really well with a very short print, from what I understand. So the current
So it's like a collectible on eBay.
The current cost is like £1,000.
Oh.
It's like £1,000 for one. It actually went up. Before the pandemic, it was like 500. Now it's like doubled.
Yeah. Well, people got bored over the pandemic.
I know. So with info that bad, it's no wonder that their commander's main job is to shoot anyone who tries to run away. Basically, they make it so you either run forward and get bodied with dignity, or run. Hold on. Basically, they make it so you run forward and get bodied with dignity, like Vegeta in all of Dragon Ball Z. Just charge in and get bodied, but you died. You went down charging in. We respect that, right? Or you try and run away and you get an ugly and embarrassing death, like Yamcha in a crater, which is my favorite image. Just Yamcha.
I love the frame of
just laid out. Oh God, it's the most embarrassing thing. I pray to God I never faint. I'm left looking like Yamcha in a crater. No, but yeah. So those are your options. So with the universe stacked against them and hilariously bad battle information, it's no wonder their main path to victory is just sheer volume of fire and numbers.
Yeah. Just make it so there's more bullet in the air than oxygen, and maybe we'll win.
One of my favorite quotes is, you may not be afraid of the lasgun until you walk through a field of them. Tanks are all well and good, right? But with enough guardsmen, even the best treads will get jammed up. You could literally be flying with ultra instinct, just dodging everything with super duper grace, but good luck dodging if the whole sky is filled with artillery.
Yeah.
It's just volume
of fire,
right? But they're not also one-trick ponies. Because they recruit from across the galaxy, they have a ton of variation in their battle styles.
Yeah.
Because each person learned on their homeworld, right? So it's going to lead to variations, right?
Yeah.
For example, you have the Death Corps, who we covered earlier, who are just the most intense of the bunch.
Yeah.
They're just intense. Head to toe, hazmat protection, and they're so ready to die that their commissars have to stop them from rushing in, right? Like they have turned on commissars before when they tried to call for a retreat, and they just said, What? What?
Retreat?
Yeah, retreat, right? So any commissar assigned to the Death Corps has to be prepared to fight for his life if he's calling for a retreat. Then you have the Jungle Fighters, who are like super just '80s action movie, like Vietnam, Rambo style.
I think I've actually seen those guys' models.
Yeah.
They literally do the whole shirtless bandana thing.
Yeah.
Two guns.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Their world is inhospitable. There's no war you could send a jungle fighter to that is worse than a night on their world. And they flex about it, right? But they're also kind of like strong-headed. So any commissar who's assigned to them tends to just disappear.
Oh.
Like, oh no, he died
where'd he
somehow.
go?
That's the 5th one this week. But they're very competent. Like usually they just have like, you know those long knives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a knife.
Yeah.
This is a knife.
Exactly. They have that energy and like a machine gun.
Yeah.
And they're very scary. They are very scary. And then you have the Desert Raiders who are all like Lawrence of Arabia style.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, they have massive like electrified scimitars, really cool, and like laser pistols.
Yeah.
They're very good at desert warfare because their planet's all desert. Hence the name.
Desert power.
Yep. And then you have like the Steel Legion who are, you're just with it today with the delayed hits, aren't you?
You just got that one?
Yes. Anyway, you have the Steel Legion, right? Who've been attacked by orcs way too many times.
And they're tired of it?
Yeah, way.
They learned that they're not small and brittle boned.
Oh, the hard way, right? So they've become super mechanized. They have tons of tanks and artillery, and they fight like the Germans, where it's like just sheer volume of fire with tanks rushing in, and people just like they're just gonna hit you so hard you will not be prepared, right? They also have a subdivision just to deal with all the orcs they've had, who are so good at this gig they can use orc weapons, which is either a feat of tactical brilliance or tactical stupidity. I don't know which. Right?
What, do they have just a bunch of orcs who they've made to believe are part of the Imperium?
I have no idea how they manage this. They just do.
They have the counter-orc orcs?
Basically. They have ice warriors who are like the Russian Red Army. They don't care at all about the number of casualties. They just kind of burst out of ice with flamethrowers and just keep it pushing, no matter how many die.
Yeah, just flamethrower.
And then you have the Firstborn, who are like the Russian White Army. They use older gear, which is fine in 40k, because older means it's proven. We know how this works. We know how it fails. We know how to fix it.
Anything, knowing the current state of the Imperium older is probably better because it's probably more advanced.
Exactly.
It's something they've forgotten how to build.
There's not too many of them, but of the ones that are there, they're super elite. They have great accuracy. They're renowned for their marksmanship.
Yeah.
Right? And the list goes on and on and on. Like, while I was doing research, it just kept going.
Just scrolling through,
I promise you, if there's any historical army you want to play as, or anything you want to pull inspiration for, if you're like me and you've played far too much Civ, there's an army for you in the Guard. I know, actually, real talk, Civ has been draining my time.
Yeah.
Draining my time this week. Oh my, I've been sucked in. It's kind of an addiction.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's bad. I will boot up a Civ game. And I will just say 5 turns. The entire day is gone.
Just one more turn. That's how 4X games go.
And it's wild to me because I'll be like, oh, I just started. What time is it? 6 a.m. Okay, sure, I guess. Right. So if you're that type of guy, you're gonna find something in the Guard. You will find something in the Guard. However, fair warning: if you want to make the Guard your first army, you're gonna need to be rich.
Yeah.
You are going to need to be rich because models are kind of expensive, and the Guard on the tabletop play like the Guard in fiction. You will need a lot of units. A lot of units. Like, Guard players will frequently just sit there and go, okay, I'm now rolling 96 dice. And like 30 of them will hit.
Volume of fire.
Spray
and pray.
Exactly. So it's a very expensive army to collect, unfortunately. But I'm still deciding on my army, so I don't know if I'm gonna go Guard or not. But yeah, just fair warning. Your eyes are gonna pop when you figure out how much it costs. Your eyes will pop because I know.
You're gonna do the cartoon at the price. I almost made you do the spit take again.
Almost. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Right now I'm kind of just torn between Angron and Mortarion if I was to do one. But the line's also coming out, so
it's like
we'll see.
I will say personally, I like Angron's model over Mortarion's.
Mortarion's got such a baller
That's not to say Mortarians is not good, but like I like the unholy beast abomination with a massive like executioner's axe or great sword and an axe.
You are gonna love Arcs of Omen. When we get to the Arcs of Omen series with Angron,
yeah.
Let me tell you, that's a book. That's a book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
Yeah. With the rate things are going, we're probably gonna wind up picking them and doing the Arcs of Omen series at some point. I'm kind of waiting for Arcs of Omen Lion to come out, just because I don't want to do the Arcs of Omen and then another one comes out. It's like,
it's like, well, just revision.
No. But that is. Let me tell you, Coda. That's a novel. It's it makes him so compelling.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of how to say this without spoiling it. He does something that is practically felt across the universe.
Oh, like the shot heard around the world type beat.
It's major.
Yeah,
it's major. Chaos and Angron get a huge, way bigger than any win the Imperium's had in a while. Even bigger than like Gilliman like resurrecting himself twice.
Twice?
It happened twice. Don't worry about it. No. Let me tell you, it's a book. It's a book. I was enraptured.
Yeah.
Enraptured by it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to do Arcs of Omen. But they also have a ton of legends in them simply because of sheer volume of fire.
Yeah.
That many people being born all the time, dying all the time. You're going to have some cool people stand out.
Oh, yeah.
You roll the dice that many times, you're going to hit.
Okay? At least once or twice.
And before we get to those legends, though, let us do our foreign fracas or international incident. It's a working title, but what matters is I accidentally started an international conflict, a war on a global scale.
Those are some words right there.
I passively mentioned the Aussies were running the game a few episodes back, and it has been a trend for you guys to tell me where you're from and why you're watching, which is great, right? It's honestly cool because I'm big into travel. I've been blessed to see a lot of the world, so I always love hearing about I'm watching this from X, I'm watching from Y, right? And it helps keep my mind running. I'm like, I've never considered that place. Yeah. Let me find out more about it. Right?
Or I've been there before.
Right? But this week, the Thunder from Down Under had a rough go of it. They've been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Europe's been consistently holding that third place.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad because, again, consistency.
Yeah. They've never left third.
Everyone else has been knocked around. They've stuck where they are. Right? But this week, it was bodied by the Americas.
Yeah.
North American specifically, like Mexico and up, carried us. You guys have been just binging it. Not only have you been watching, you've been binging our stuff, right? So thank you guys so much. And we even have some people up in Alaska who've mentioned watching, yeah. So
I've seen a couple commenters from Alaska going, "I'm the only one."
Yeah. So to spotlight,
you guys need to get together.
Well, from what I understand, I do believe they have to deal with polar bears and eternal night there sometimes. So.
Yeah.
It's pretty though.
It is really pretty.
I would love to go there at some point.
Yeah. I would love to see the endless sunset that lasts for like a week. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah. So to celebrate our specifically Alaskans showing up in the comments, showing love and binging our stuff, we're gonna do a fun fact for the week.
A fun fact for the week.
Yeah. This time it's on Alaska. You're gonna love this.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna love this. Did you know? In Tahkeetna, Alaska, a cat named Mr. Stubbs ran for mayor and won. Every night during his reign of terror, he would go to a nearby restaurant and drink iced water laced with catnip out of a wine glass or a lightly salted margarita glass. He had over 40 visitors a day and continuous fan mail. Throughout the tenure, he also survived 3 assassination attempts. Once by a rogue dog attack, another shot by some teenagers with a BB gun, and lastly, he fell into a restaurant's deep fryer. Yeah. Due to old age, though, he had to start making fewer public appearances, and eventually he did pass in July 21st, 2017, at the healthy age of 20.
Rest in peace.
I know, right? He was described as a trooper to the end of his life, and there's currently a small petition to have the other family cat run for office to continue his legacy.
Mr. Stubbs.
Mr. Stubbs.
Mr. Stubbs.
Yeah.
Fell into a deep fryer?
It was apparently off, but yeah, he did fall into a deep fryer.
Okay, good.
I was
Thank
reading,
God
I was
it's
reading
off.
up on him. I was like, how?
How?
Kids have great ballads.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One, how'd he fall into? How'd he survive? Because I've worked with deep fryers before, and
Crispy.
they are crispy.
Cat will be crispy.
Oh, very crispy. I once had somebody...
You just
I
hear,
have-
could you imagine just being a head chef? You're...
No, but I have worked with someone who we had a timer next to the old restaurant I worked at. We had a timer next to the fryer to, like, you know, time how long things were in there. And somebody got, like, scared when it started beeping. It was magnetic. It was, like, stuck to the side.
Okay.
So, like, they got scared when it started beeping, picked it up, and accidentally dropped it, still beeping, right into the on fryer. So it's just...
What time was it? I don't know. Fry o'clock. Yeah. So
I thought mine were bad.
Oh, mine are off the cuff and better. So if you guys want to represent your jar of dirt, please keep that energy in the comments and help your nation come out on top. Also, if you have any fun facts from Area Fun, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, right? Let's get back to the guard.
I got a jar of dirt.
Now let's get back to the guard. With their heroes, right? The first major one is Colonel Iron Hand. What? I'll wait for you to finish with the missile silo, which you ripped from me, by the way, because I found those first. Except I had the dignity to not sticker bomb mine because I'm an adult.
I like stickers.
Anyway, let's get back to the heroes of the guard. Some of with one we've already covered. We already touched on him, but Colonel Commissar Sebastian Yarrick, who's, if you didn't watch the orc episode, go watch it. But he's such a good fighter that all the orcs fear or respect him, right? He's got a
Or
massive...
fear and respect him.
Fear and respect him. He's got a massive orc claw and laser eye that only work because the orcs think it does. And also, something we missed is he's one of the few guardsmen to hit retirement.
Really?
He fully hit retirement and received a whole world to just retire to.
Yeah.
And he said, nah.
No.
Yeah, he just said nah and kept going. Yeah, until recently, where probably Angron killed him. Not sure yet, but probably. Right. And then there's Colonel Iron Hand Strachan, who's one of those jungle fighter Rambo guys. Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's one of those jungle fighter Rambo guys. His claim to fame is he was on a stealth mission, sneaking up on the Eldar, which is impressive
Yeah.
because they're sneaky.
Yeah. They're the elf villains from what I know. So, I mean, archetypal elves,
Yeah.
stealthy.
Yeah. So he was sneaking up on the Eldar, and he lost his entire arm and most of his torso to a land shark.
A land shark?
40k is incredibly stupid.
A land shark?
A shark on land.
A shark on land.
A land shark.
A
Yeah.
land shark.
But this is what makes him cool. He just firmed it. He literally, because it's a stealth mission. So it bit him, and he just went.
Okay.
He then proceeded to beat it to death with his massive steel nads.
That's a whole lot right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Land shark?
land shark, yeah. And then
Land shark.
that's not enough. When the medics are stitching him up, because again, he's missing a huge
Half
chunk of
of
his
his
body,
torso, yeah.
right? He's using his good arm to chuck grenades and complaining they're not fixing him faster. So he's just like they're just hawking them with pinpoint accuracy. By the way,
Yeah.
just fix this.
These are archetypal Rambo guys.
Exactly, right? And then there's Sly Marbo. I have to mention Sly Marbo.
Sly Marbo?
Yeah, if I don't, I'll be raked over the coals.
Sly Marbo.
Yeah, he's another jungle fighter.
Yeah.
right? And it's just Sylvester Stallone. Like Marbo is just an anagram of Rambo, and Sly's nickname for Sylvester.
Oh, Jesus.
It's
Oh,
just
Jesus.
Rambo.
That just kicked in.
Yeah, think Solid Snake and Chuck Norris mixed, right? He is, and pardon my French, hot horseshit. He's taken on entire armies and beat them with hit and run tactics alone. Allegedly, cannot miss even with a gun to his head. He's even taken down a Bane Lord Titan.
Bane Lord
if you don't know what that is,
I don't know what that is.
it's a war mech so big you could build a cathedral on it.
Jesus.
And it's devoutly committed to worshipping chaos. So it has weird warp magic going on. And he beat it alone. A guy.
Just a guy.
Nobody knows how to this day.
He just did it.
Yeah, no, he's just ridiculous. Slide doesn't shower, he takes blood baths. He's beaten a Necron in a staring contest. He threw a grenade and killed 5 orcs. Then the grenade exploded. He sleeps with a pillow under his gun. He doesn't go hunting because hunting implies failure. He kills. Robert Baron Countach apparently keeps a poster of Sly with him at all times for inspiration. He was once stung by a horrific devil, and after 5 days of agonizing pain, the devil died. Sly doesn't sleep, he waits, and legend says the fastest way to a man's heart is with Sly's blade.
Jesus.
If at first you don't succeed, you're not Sly. It goes on and on. It's like that Chuck. Remember in the 2010s when all those Chuck Norris memes?
God,
that's
the
who Sly
Chuck
is.
Norris memes.
That's who Sly is. He's really fun, but his model is a joke.
Is it?
It's a garbage man. It doesn't live up to any of this hype. Any of this hype. Like, to give you a sense of scale, the Guard actually play like the Guard do, right? He does not at all. He does not. But again, if he lived up to this, in theory, you'd buy a single model for your army, which would be Sly Marbo, and then you proceed to either win or go even with every other army, including ones with actual Primarchs in them. So, like, I get why.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious.
It'd be so hilarious.
I would saw an arm off for GW to come out with like the point limit is 2,000 in the game, a 2,000 point model called Sly Marbo, and it's your entire army. That is your one unit.
And then you just play espionage tactics.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That fills up your entire point board. To give you a sense of scale, the only other person who would do that would be like the Emperor himself if he was a model. He'd probably fill up your whole
Entire army.
Yeah, and then some.
But it's the difference between tactical espionage action and just Sauron.
Exactly.
Like that one opening scene to Lord of the Rings when Sauron is just like
It's basically how the Emperor would play.
yeah.
But yeah, the Guard's not all good. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's still people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They get scared, again, which is such a problem that the commissars have to be trained to shoot them if they try.
I saw this. It was a meme edit for one of the old Warhammer 40k games with just like a bunch of guardsmen trying to retreat from a battle against Necrons, and their commissar just turning around with a las gun.
If you will not serve in combat, then you will serve on the firing line.
Yeah. Literally, it's just part of the combat training. Just be prepared to shoot somebody and keep going, right? They're also not as disciplined as Space Marines. Like, Space Marines are like prey. Like, they're actual, like, they're warrior monks.
Yeah.
Like, they spend a lot of time in meditation. When they're not, like a Space Marine being armored, when not in direct combat, is a whole process.
Yeah.
Like, they have a prayer, they say, as they put it on, right? So they're very contemplative. They're very meditative people.
Yeah.
Because it's like iron within. Iron without kind of deal. Right?
Yeah.
So Chaos has a very hard time corrupting them. Even like 10 times, like, to give you a sense of scale, quite a few, half of all Space Marines are serving Chaos. I was going to give them way too much credit.
Yeah.
But like, for example, the Custodies, which are like the Emperor's bodyguards, right? They're like slightly above Space Marines.
Yeah.
Not a single one has ever gone to Chaos.
Yeah.
They're just that disciplined. So that's kind of where the Space Marines stand when it comes to discipline. These are people.
Yeah.
If Chaos even so much as sneezes near the planet, they're just going to turn to Chaos.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of people. Right?
Yeah, that's just how they work.
Yeah, and they actually did this during the heresy. They half the Imperium split. Half the Guard split too.
Yeah.
Right? Which is actually why when Gilliman was doing his whole restructuring, he also split the Guard and the Navy. Before they used to be one. And now they're split because no power concentrated in one place, right?
It's easier to deal with half if everything's already small.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the Space Marines pay the bills.
Yeah.
They are the poster boy. Everybody knows them. But the Guard are the first and the last line of defense.
Yeah.
When Space Marines only show up usually when no pile of Guardsmen can stack high enough to win this battle.
Yeah.
That's when Space Marines show up.
Yeah.
Right.
The Space Marines are just can't. We need assistance. Get in.
Yeah,
there,
no,
please.
most in a lot of media you see Space Marines and all that, right? Your average Guardsman won't.
Yeah.
Like your average Guardsman will never see a Space Marine and they'll be thankful for that, right? It's like their odds of seeing a Space Marine are like your odds of bumping into Oprah.
Yeah.
It's possible. Not many of you have.
And I've heard that a lot of Guardsmen, upon seeing a Space Marine, will go, "Aha, this means death is near," because then the Space Marines have to turn around and off them too.
No, some. There's a couple of like redacted chapters where it's like nobody knows we exist. And if you see them, if you ever go, "Oh, that's a new chapter. I've never heard of them before." Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Right? Yeah. Also, usually it's more like awe and a bit of dread because again, Space Marines aren't the most natural thing to watch.
Yeah.
It's scary to see one in combat because you're like,
What are you?
it's just off-putting. Nothing human should move like that.
Yeah, they do the whole. I think you mentioned in Primarchs Part 1 the transhuman dread, which is a real thing. It's not just like it's not just a Warhammer 40k thing.
People have that. Just look at the Boston Dynamics robots.
Yeah. They're just like, that's not real. That's not supposed to be real.
That video is jarring.
Yeah.
The video of them doing acrobatics, it's so weird seeing it. Because the thing that scared me is when it did like a jump and it landed on a beam and it held its hands up to stabilize.
Yeah.
Like I saw it get unstable and then like do this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they're starting to move like humans. You know what's funny is they move like humans.
Its spine. I was like,
yeah, they move like humans when they're in action, but the moment they hit a point of failure, they coil up like a spider into like a fetal position like a spider to just protect, shield all of their limbs, and they stop moving. Yeah. It's bizarre to watch.
Yeah, and then like the spot dogs dancing in sync. People get you can get transhuman dread today.
This dude,
go ahead and get you some.
This dude has blown up over the past couple weeks, and it's been really fun to watch. But there's a drum and bass artist that I found quite recently called Vengeant, and he's got a song that he made called Create Machines. It's like this weird industrial techno pop thing that he does, right? But the music video features a bunch of robots, including those Boston Dynamic robots dancing in the background with the weird, like, the tiny shades that are just like tiny circles dancing with those on their heads.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, and I genuinely would not be surprised if today, somewhere out there are robots already being deployed to the battlefield.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Throw it back to the Necron episode. I'm going to talking about AI. Somebody left a comment. There are already full-blown AI-like influencers.
Yeah.
Full-blown already. And it's I thought this was a future thing. It's happening like now.
Yeah.
It's already kind of weird. I'll be like scrolling through my For You page and I'll just see like something that just doesn't math out. And I'll go back. I'm like, oh, that's a machine.
No, I've also noticed it a lot. Like, you watch different YouTube videos and like, there's a lot of voices that are just like not right somehow.
This isn't done by a person.
Yeah, and then it's AI.
It's fully AI. Transhuman dread doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But oh god, there's this one. And you guys might know her because I use TikTok now because we have this going on. Scrolling through my For You page, there's a Starbucks barista who is stunning. I mean, like gorgeous for no good reason. Like, I'm a very confident guy. I'm like a pretty confident guy. If I ever went to a drive-thru and opened up and saw her, yes, ma'am, I'd immediately become 10 again. I'd be scared for my life. Yeah, and all the comments on that are just people going, that can't be real. This literally is a machine right now, and fairly certain it's a person just because the different lighting, the different environments. But it's just jarring to see like there's already people who are like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And again, I'm pretty sure it's just like a company plant. Like I'm pretty sure Starbucks like basically hired a model, but like
Probably.
yeah.
It happens.
It happens, right? Best Buy has an e-girl.
Best Buy also has an e-girl.
Best Buy has an e-girl.
Samsung has an AI generated e-girl.
I know, but Best
I
Buy
can't
paid
remember
for
her
it.
name.
No, Best Buy paid for like a goth e-girl. It's cheating. It's cheating. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, you know your audience.
Yeah.
And just an e-girl building a computer? Like I literally just scrolled through my For You page. I literally like stopped and went back. I was like, I beg your pardon?
Who?
Yeah, like because I was like, okay, scroll, and then I see this goth chick building a computer. I'm like, okay, this is cool, kind of like a goth farmer kind of deal. Remember her? She was popping. There's this goth chick building a computer. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? And then I noticed there's way too much branding in that. I see the big Best Buy sign. She's wearing a Best Buy shirt with Best Buy logo, and like she mentions in the description, like I got all this with my like savings program and all that. I'm like, hold on.
Who
I know
are
a
you?
plant when I see one, and I scrolled through all her footage is taken in a Best Buy, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, either you actually own a computer parts store, or they're paying you for this. This doesn't math out.
Yeah.
This doesn't math out. Yeah. So, we live in a new era of marketing. Good. Yeah. So there's that Starbucks e-girl. There's a Best Buy e-girl. IHOP considered having a goth for a second there. It's a whole thing. There were actual meetings in Hooters about femboy Hooters. Actual board meetings about that.
Why won't they give us femboy Hooters?
I'm not even touching that. I'm not even touching that. But yeah, no. God, if they did that on TikTok, they would be the most subbed thing on earth in days. In days.
Oh yeah.
Actually, side tangent. We're gonna get back on topic.
We're already on a side tangent.
No. But this one needs to be.
This is
said.
a side
It's
tangent of a side tangent.
Adorable to me. Like one of the fastest growing TikTokers on the platform is their CEO, because he was being interviewed. You know, with everything going on in the world, he was being interviewed at some point. This guy was pretty low key, kind of stealth wealth for a little bit there, but he was being interviewed because TikTok's under more global scrutiny. And somebody asked him like, "Okay, I mean, you like your platform? Do you use it?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course, I love this platform, right?" And he's like, "Okay, if you had to choose somebody to sub to, who would you recommend everyone in the room sub to right now?" And he went, "Oh, me please. I have like 1,000 subs, please me." And like he's at like 2 million now overnight. And I'm like, I love that. I damn near subbed him just for that. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
He just wants some subs.
Yeah, no, just love it. Because he immediately should see me. He immediately lit up his like, me, please. I'm like at 1,000. I just need like a little bit of clout. And I'm like, what do you need clout for? What do you need clout for? You could press a button and like be the most subbed thing.
That's what MySpace did back in the day. Is like when you first started up your account, your first and only friend at the point of like account setup would be the CEO. Can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I think it's a Tom. The guy, smart.
Yeah.
He made this huge social media thing, from what I understand, and cashed out early. So he doesn't have any of the sanity draining effects. He's just eating his cake somewhere on the planet.
Yeah, he's
what a life.
Yeah,
right. But
he made people pick out their top 8 friends, and then he left the room.
Listen. I don't use Twitter like that, but I want Elon Musk to bring back that top 5 because the beef would be legendary.
I've heard that in the early aughts, it screwed friendships up.
No,
like people would set up their top 8 friends, and then they'd go to high school the next day, and they'd have like Lisa from chemistry just like screaming.
No. For me, it's not even if I'm in your top 5 or not, because I know I'm in your top 5. No. For me, it's not a matter of being in your top 8. For me, it's am I number 1? No, it's literally am I number 1? And if not, I hope you never need a kidney. That's just where we are. I'm number 3. I hope you asked 1 and 2 first. That's just how this goes. They said no. You should have reevaluated. Yeah. You should have known who the real ones are.
You should have done the math, figured out whose blood type is who, and like whoever matches you, there's number 1.
That's yeah. But we have gone off the rails
so far.
But that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
side tangents. Fun.
Thank you all for tuning in on this episode for the Guard. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff you already know. Those names you've been seeing scroll by as we chat have been our wonderful patrons. Thank you to all of them. Without them, this show is impossible. If you want to join them, help us hit our goals, get in on that patch before the slots run out, please go check us out. Patreon.com/AlexanderOkoda. or click the link. As always, thank you all for being you.